How you doing, my friends? You know, I find I get a lot of ideas when I drive. I don't know if you find the same thing. And one idea that's kind of hit me for about 2 days in a row now. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to stop. I'm going to set the video camera up here, and I'm just going to take a quick video. And I'm just going to kind of talk to you right from the cuff, right off the hip. Because, you know, I think anyways, this particular situation, this particular topic, I think is critical when it comes to our sales. And as logistics and transportation salespeople, and I apologize for all the shadows that are going to happen when I'm in the car here. It's a beautiful sunny day in Southern Ontario. But the one thing that I want to talk to you about is, you know, everybody talks about this idea of adding value. You know, add value. If you add value to a customer, you know, you're going to be able to maintain that customer and grow that customer and have that customer forever. But I guess my big question is, what's value? And how do we define what value means to you as opposed to what value means to me? You know, I often share with people when this topic typically comes up, I say, you know, here's the thing. I'm a golfer, right? I love golfing. And if you were to show me a putter that would guarantee me to save, say, 6 strokes off my game, I'd buy that thing and I'd probably pay $1,000, $1,500 for it. I mean, it's just what I would do. But if you're not a golfer, you would think that $1,500 is completely ridiculous to spend compared to, say, if you loved music and you said to yourself, you know what, I want to buy a stereo system for 10 grand. I'd never pay $10,000 for a stereo system. But I have friends who have paid $10,000 for a stereo system because they love music. So that stereo system adds value to them, to their day, to their mornings. You know, so this idea of value is just crazy because every single person is saying, oh, well, you know what, it's easy to get clients. Just go out and add value to them and you'll be fine. But I think the key point is we must identify what value means. So I've got a couple of ideas that I just kind of want to share off the cuff. You know, a lot of the times I come straight out and ask, you know, what is it that your incumbent carrier does right now so well? And when they answer that, I say, okay, if there were to be any ability to improve on what they do so well, would you consider that value? Would you consider this situation value or this scenario value? Because you see, when we make a sales call or when we walk into a sales meeting, really the idea is, how do we pull that value out of what is value to the customer, and how do we sell on that? And I think a lot of salespeople make this mistake. I mean, a lot of salespeople I train, when they come, I say, okay, share with me kind of, you know, what your quote unquote pitch is. And they, oh, it's this, and they start going into this rant. And then as they start adding, or not adding, I apologize, as they start advising the prospect, you know, quote unquote me in this hypothetical situation, about everything they can do for them, I stop them and I say, okay, my question to you now is, do you know if that particular service is of value to that customer? Right? It's a great question, because when you think about it, we need to understand that first and foremost before we talk about any products or service in any market, but specifically in transportation, the service that you can provide, and whether it be consolidation, I mean, whatever it is, how do you know it's going to help them? Like, if you understand that value to them is saving $1, then you can maybe, you know, sell a consolidation service, because typically those consolidation services will be more cost effective than straight LTL or something like that. But how do you know what it is that they do? And how are you going to drag that out of them? How are you going to drag it out? How are you going to have the customer share that with you? So what I've done is I've created kind of like a one-page sales call worksheet, if you will, kind of like a mini standard operating procedure, mini SOP for you. I think it's going to be of great value. On the button below this video and below the text after this video, please go and download it, because that value sheet is going to help share a ton of information about exactly how you can pull what value means to your prospect from the conversation. And then that way you could be more strategic about your sales, right? Because we all know predictable sales comes from being very strategic about the questions we ask, when we ask them, and how we ask them. So if we can't understand the first part of it, right, which is what does it value mean to the specific individual, then I don't think we can ever get very strategic on our calls. So I'm going to end this video because we're getting into some rough roads here, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it got you thinking. I mean, this particular video isn't necessarily the value add. It's more the let's start our creative juices flowing. When you get to the download sheet, that's going to be a huge value add. So again, download the sheet below. Trust me, you're going to want to put it in every single call folder with every single client. You're going to want to use it before every single meeting. Heck, while you're in the meeting, use it in the meeting to take your notes with. Because a value sheet like I'm going to create for you guys is going to be absolutely indispensable. I mean, it's going to be a resource for you. And in the end, that's really what we want, isn't it? When we pull the value out from our customer and when we pull the value from what they need and we can implement a strategic plan to facilitate what they consider value, that's when you become a resource, my friend. Until the next time, remember, go out there and have fun with every sales call. Enjoy the moment and crush your sales.